So as much as people think about math and equations or formulas when it comes to investing, it's one that they probably haven't thought about that holds the keys to success. As a kid who grew up liking math, gravitating to the parts of investing that dealt with numbers and projections, there were some hard lessons to learn, and a lot of those hard lessons got learned in 2008. Not because the portfolios did or didn't do all right relative to the markets, but because of the disconnect that I saw too often between what could be substantively correct but stylistically not a great fit, and how that impacted outcomes. So I want to talk about that today, what this equation means to me and the process here at 10 Capital, and of course, most importantly, for you as clients. Like a lot of lessons, again, mine, as I said, was born out of 2008, this disconnect that I saw between something that could be doing all right from a mathematical standpoint, but as we often talk about, was somehow missing the beat emotionally. Of course, that was a very emotional season for a lot of reasons, but it showed that just having something be quote unquote right mathematically or formulaically wasn't enough for clients. We had to find that stylistic fit. It's one of the biggest issues when it comes to portfolios and plans that I think the industry struggles with as a whole. And of course, for those of you who've been clients or following along with these commentaries from some time, one of the biggest areas we try to address at 10 Capital. So how do we address this stylistic fit? This, of course, is about a lot of great fund partners and analysts and researchers that we partner with. But from a style standpoint, what really all does this entail? It gets into that live methodology we've talked about. It can be about making sure there's enough liquidity. Is there a definable income stream for people, especially who need it? Volatility, is it from a risk-adjusted return standpoint allocated correctly? But do they even understand it? Some people have very strong feelings about being in individual stocks versus funds versus ETFs versus different social causes that they might want around their portfolios. And our job is to try to keep this correct and at the same time match things well enough from that style standpoint that people find conviction, confidence, and clarity in the portfolio to give it the time that it needs to get the desired outcome. And so that's why if you come in at 10 Capital and sit down with us, we'll spend a lot of time learning about your history as an investor, learning about your goals, linking those goals to the portfolio so that it isn't just the veracity of a bad market that's weighing on you. It's the strength of those goals and dreams that can offset that to, again, give it the time that it needs to work. Why is time so success? It's an old market adage. It's not timing the market, but time in the market that works. Is that true? I want to share two quick points with you. We'll include these. Matt's going to probably put them over my face as we speak, some charts, some other infographics around it. But the first is, timing the market. Is it really necessary? In Goldman, this will be the first chart that showed, if you looked back over the last 23 years, as of mid-year to date, if you had timed the market perfectly, i.e. whatever your annual contribution was going to be was put in on the absolute lowest point for the day, you would have ended up with about 1.2 million approximately. If you had the worst timing, so every year you put that chunk to work, you would have ended up with 913,000 off a total annual contribution of $12,000 over those years. If you just sat in a 3-month treasury over that same time, you only had 334,000. So again, part of this is a relative game of showing you between the best and the worst, the gap isn't all that big, meaningful in some ways, but it's better than doing nothing for those who, again, have time to invest. So what does time in the market do for you? Particularly then if you're going to be a more diversified investor. Our friends at AMG gave us this next chart that we're showing you that again looks back on a variety of asset classes and what does being diversified mean to just being in the S&P 500 alone. And it was interesting. If you looked at the total return over those 23-year time frame, you got almost the same average annualized return, 6.25 versus 6.84, but with about 2/3 less volatility and an 18 in total percentage, less max drawdown over that same time frame. Similarly, if you think about getting back to even, I know a lot of people after last year's bear market, very hesitant, whether it's to put new money to work or of the stock markets in general. For those diversified investors after the tech drawdown, 2000 to 2002, diversified investors were back within 8 months versus 49 for the S&P. And after the great financial crisis bear market drawdown, diversified investors were back after 13 months to even versus 37 for the S&P. In conclusion, it isn't about perfect timing. It isn't about making a big call around asset allocation. Historically, again, those old adages are true for a reason, which is be diversified, be patient, and again, understand the importance of style and finding a plan and portfolio that meets you and your goals to enable to empower you to give that time that your portfolio needs to get the results that you hope to see. As always, if you need to chat more about this or understand what your style is, we're here for you anytime.